Got the best college basketball beat writer in the country, the best basketball columnist in the country, the best living room in Columbus, and I'm just me. Bill Landis, Doug Marie, Ari Wasserman here to give you our Ohio State outlook for basketball this season. Regular season record, Big Ten standings, and whether or not they'll make the tournament, and as the cherry on top, whether or not or what the seed will be in the NCAA tournament. So I'll let you start, Bill. What do you got for Ohio State basketball?
I think I'm probably optimistic, and people watching this probably think I'm overly optimistic. I have 24-7, which is really good record when you take into consideration they were in the NIT last year. I just think the Big Ten is good, and it's potentially very good, but it's not as top-heavy as it was last year. I think Ohio State can finish in the top 5 of the league, which isn't good enough for some people, but I think it's good enough for a team that was as bad as they were last year. So I have them 24-7, 12-6 in the Big Ten. The thing where I think I might be off as a non-conference, where I only have them losing one game at Virginia. There's some other tricky ones in there. They play UCLA in Las Vegas. They play Providence and UConn at home. I think any of those 3 games are certainly losable, especially early in the year. But I think this is a team that could win games in the Big Ten. They play Wisconsin and Michigan State and Maryland on the road, but they get a return game in Columbus. So even if they lose those, they can even them out by winning games at home. I think that adds up to a 12-6 record, which certainly gets you in the NCAA tournament. And I have them as a 5 seed. So it's a pretty big bounce back, I guess, from an NIT year. But I have them 24-7, 5 seed in the NCAA tournament.
Doug?
You have 5th in the Big Ten, right?
5th in the Big Ten, yeah.
So the confusing thing is they were 11-7 in the Big Ten last year and didn't make the tournament. I have them 22-9, 11-7 in the Big Ten, and comfortably in the tournament. But that's because that 11-7 record would be way different. Last year they beat Kentucky in the non-conference and did not win another game against a good team, a game they shouldn't have won, right? I think they'll win some of those games. I think they'll beat Michigan State 1 out of 2 times. I think they could beat Wisconsin once. I think they could beat Purdue. I think they could sweep Maryland, stuff like that, they'll beat up again on the bottom of the conference. But I think they'll be comfortably in, tied for 5th in the Big Ten. I have them as a 6th seed in the tournament. And it's the same conference record, but I think it's a very different feel. I think it's a very different team. And I think it's a much more successful year because there's going to be a lot more high points during that 11-7 record. And again, the thing that got them last year was those 2 terrible non-conference losses. I think they'll find their footing earlier and not have those stumbles, and that will pay off for them in March.
I'm with you partially. I think Ohio State loses 2 games in the non-conference, and I think giving them 2 out of those 4 games is pretty good. Yeah. I think 12-6 is my record. So in the Big Ten, so I'm at 3-8. Sorry, space for a second. But I think that basically all 3 of us are basically on the same page, right? I mean, if we're within 1 or 2 games, I think that's a 6th seed in the NCAA tournament. And I think if Ohio State's going to return their 6 leading scorers, they know what they're going to get from these guys. They should be a year better. Again, I just don't think that the Big Ten schedule, just based on what you guys said from top to bottom, should stop them from winning 12 games this year. They might slip, but I think if they get 2 out of the 4 non-conference games, that sets them up for a better resume heading forward, and Ohio State gets into the tournament. Bill, Doug, Ari, thanks so much for keeping up with us at cleveland.com.